I don't remember ever seeing a pride parade. All I ever saw was something on television, and you know what they show. They would pick the most flamboyant people. You know what I mean. They didn't pick the family floats. But I remember that when my daughter told me that she was lesbian, she lives in Delaware. That was in 1980. I was shocked because she was married and had 3 sons in high school, and I was completely unprepared for this. But we had a conversation, and it ended with my saying that I loved her no less, but don't ever expect me to carry a poster or march in a parade. And I meant it. I really don't know what I expected when I came to PFLAG, because I didn't come for the next 10 years. I had never heard of PFLAG. I should have known there was a support group, but I didn't. So I was in my dark and lonely closet with Gordon as my support and talking to Valerie in Delaware. But a panel came to our church, and I know now that it was one of the first times that the panel had been out in public and had gone to a church. And I heard Gail Rickey stand in front of a large group at Christ Church Cathedral and say, "My daughter is lesbian." I thought, how can she do that? But I learned who she was, where they met, and I've been here ever since. It'll soon be 18 or 19 years, something like that. But I had no intention of ever marching. I didn't even want to be an advocate. I wasn't sure what one was, but I wasn't going to be one. I remember being at a meeting at the church on Piney Point, and there was a young man who had been to the National Convention. He came, he was making a talk, giving a report, and he said, this is the moment I became an advocate. I remember it well. He said, if a group of parents like you would hold a picture of your child, you don't know what an impact you would have on the world. That moment, I became an advocate. I knew that I could hold a picture, and I could do that much. So I then said I would agree to march in the Gay Pride Parade. I had no idea what I was getting into. It was the last daytime parade, and it was hot. I mean, you can't imagine how hot it was. But what was wonderful was that as we marched, people came out and threw ice water on us, poured ice down the back of our T-shirts. We were really marching. There was no float. And it was wonderful. I can't tell you, because I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know people were going to come running out the way they can't do now. You know, they had the barricades up, but they could come out to you, and they could thank you, and they could say, I wish you were my mom, I wish you were my grandmother. And they wanted hugs. They wanted hugs. And at that time, the big crowd was at the corner of Westheimer and whatever, Montrose, I guess. And you could hear the roar before you got there. And they would start chanting, PFLAG, PFLAG, PFLAG. And it got louder and louder and louder. And I started crying. I couldn't help it. They were absolute tears of joy to know that there were that many people out there who really appreciated what we were doing. I was very touched by that. I've been in every parade since. I plan to march this time. We will see. But I want to tell you that it will be one of the greatest experiences you'll ever have. At first, I didn't know so many people, or so many people didn't know me, but I was surprised at how many were there from the church choir in the crowd. What impressed me, and still does, is how many young families come and bring their children. They're bringing their children to watch the parade and see the people march. Please, please, just give yourself this opportunity to experience some of what I have about acceptance and love and the joy that it can be when they see you coming and they start chanting PFLAG. You'll love it.